Hello, my name is Emeko Kereke, and you are welcome to yet another video from Tech Talk at EO Multimedia, which is my channel. So, today is going to be all about the AirPods Max, which I have here with me. Now, in a previous video, I compared these headphones to the Bowers and Wilkins PX7, and there I outlined all my earliest impressions of it. You can check out the video somewhere. Yeah, I'm going to link it up here. It is important to note that the way the AirPods Max was designed with all these features like noise cancellation and transparency mode, which I'll get into very soon, it is obviously geared towards people who travel a lot, people who are always on the move. I have been using the AirPods Max extensively and almost on an everyday basis for about 2 months now, but also I have made my very first travel with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be considerate of your fellow passengers and our seat. One glass 5 meters distance to other passengers and avoid crossing in the gate area. Furthermore, you are
It is my first travel of the year, but also my first travel since the lockdown. Now, if you know this channel, then you know that I'm based in Berlin. This is not my usual setup, and that's why I'm also using this microphone. However, I'm currently bringing you this video from Barcelona, where I have been for some 3 weeks now. Here in Europe, the lockdown due to COVID is still in full force. So traveling is still limited and restricted in most cases. In this review, I'll be sharing my experiences of using this headphone for travel through the airport, inside the plane, and around a city such as Barcelona, where, although wearing masks all the times, people are allowed to move around in the city and socialize much more than in a place like, say, Berlin. So let's dive right into it. In my previous video, I have talked about how well built and elegantly designed the AirPods Max is. But how does this design hold up in the everyday use? The first thing that stood out in terms of convenience is that once you've put on these headphones, you have very little need to take them off. And this is because the transparency mode is so good. In fact, it is perhaps the best feature of these headphones. Funny enough, because it is supposed to be the sound, right? But no, for me personally, it is the transparency mode. Apple nailed it hands down this time. I was able to really appreciate the power of the transparency mode when on the go. In the taxi towards the airport, I could clearly communicate with the taxi man as if I had no headphones on. At the airport, I could perfectly hear the incoming announcement for flight times and destination. Of course, your music must not be too loud as to overpower the transparency mode. But again, this is where the headphones excel. The buttons are very accessible and easy to use. Over time, I've gotten used to the digital crown button at the top for reducing and increasing volume of what I'm listening to, but also for moving tracks forward and backward. Switching from noise cancellation to transparency mode is the easiest ever. Press the button and the world goes silent or comes alive around you, as the case may be. And oh, if you're wondering, nothing comes close to the actual real life implementation of the transparency mode and noise cancellation of the AirPods Max. Not the Sony XM4, not the Bowers and Wilkins PX7. Nothing I have ever used. It's like having an open back and a powerful closed back headphones all rolled into one. It's just amazing. Now, the AirPods Max is still a bulky and clunky headphone. You begin to feel this inconvenience if you have to put it on and off your head all the time. First off, although it is in no way fragile, it does look like something you don't want to get one bit of a scratch on. In my case, I find that I'm acutely aware of how I am handling it. Now, the carrying case that came with the device is a joke, really. And yeah, I still think so even after these weeks of using it. Not only does it not help for the day to day transportation, it keeps coming in the way of convenience. In other words, it is counterproductive. And thank goodness that many companies out there are making cases for this. I have not seen one that I like yet, but once I do, I will go for it and ditch the Apple Wallet. So, this is something to note if you are looking to purchase the AirPods Max. I was looking forward to getting onto the plane with the AirPods Max. First, for that noise cancelling experience, but also for the spatial audio. I had downloaded Marvel's WandaVision series from Disney Plus. I listened to the flight attendant all through while wearing the headphones, thanks again to the transparency mode. I engaged the noise cancellation soon after, and it was literally dead silence. I couldn't hear a thing of the plane's engine. It was pure bliss. Spatial audio was equally impressive and immersive, as if I came into the plane with a personal home theater. It made my cheap economy class seat feel like a first class without, of course, the sprawling out of legs and adjustable couch seat. Mid air, cabin pressure kicks in, as should be expected. This affects the sound you hear. It fluctuates between thinning out, sounding far off, and coming back to full volume. It just kept going up and down. I had expected the adaptive EQ, which Apple claims adjusts automatically to make up for any changes, to have kicked in here. Perhaps I'm missing something, but it failed to impress me. And what's more, I felt like the headphone was adding more pressure to my already pressured head. I had to take it off at some point to relieve my temples and my head, which by this time was already feeling like some squeezed oranges. Now, when it comes to comfort and wearing it for long hours, my case is peculiar. Usually I wear glasses and mine has bulky handles. I find that when I wear the headphones with glasses on, they are unbearable. I'm unable to wear the headphones past 45 minutes max. It hurts like crazy and on both sides. However, without the glasses, I've been able to go as long as 3 hours without problems. But this is mainly when I'm alternating between transparency mode and noise cancellation. I find that when I use the noise cancellation mode for longer hours, I feel very strange pressure in the front and inside of my head. So if you've ever had sinuses, yeah, the feeling is somewhat close to that. Like there is water inside my forehead. This is super uncomfortable and makes me, I would say, worried. If there's one reason why I will give up this headphone, it would definitely be for this. What could it be? Some electromagnetic waves gradually boiling my brain over time? I don't know. Please let me know in the comment section if you have any clue why this is happening. But the pressure is really disturbing. Now, when it comes to sound, the AirPods Max continues to impress me. In fact, it is the best thing I've ever used. Even more so, after all these weeks spent with it, I have really put it through its paces. My music listening has been very eclectic and super diverse. I've been crossing genres like I'm crossing borders, basically. It's been a musical journey. I have listened to Afrobeats, jazz, Arabic jazz, hip hop, R&B, South African house, and Amapiano for those who know, the 70s high life from Africa, songs from the likes of Taylor Swift, and many, many classical music. The list goes on and on. Across all these genres, the AirPods Max holds its own. This is what is so impressive about the headphone. Apple's computational audio is quite a technological marvel, and I will say the future of audio engineering. Now, that is not to say that it is perfect, far from it. But when it comes to being the Swiss Army knife of listening across musical styles and genres, the Apple AirPods Max comes out definitely on top. As for music streaming platforms, Tidal is still the king. At first, I thought the adaptive EQ would have flattened the audio quality difference across all these platforms, but after listening to Deezer, Apple Music, Tidal, and Spotify, which, like everyone who knows me, know, I think is still the worst of them all, Spotify. I still think that Tidal Hi-Fi still gives the best sound, and you will enjoy really the sound quality of your music if you are subscribed to Tidal. So, what about phone calls? Here too, the AirPods Max performs really well, especially when I'm out and about. It does a really good job of isolating ambient sound or noise while keeping the audio clear and centered. In the age of WhatsApp and iMessage, voice notes are a big deal. I find that even while speaking through my mask, the audio is quite clear. In fact, these days, anytime I want to leave a voice note, I make sure I'm wearing the AirPods Max. All of these great sound quality attributes transfers to watching movies, listening to podcasts, or any other internet content. The AirPods Max, like its little older sister, the AirPods Pro, makes listening enjoyable, convenient, and most importantly for me, effortless. Now, speaking of the AirPods Pro, really, they are siblings in every sense of the word. They perfectly complement each other. They share the same sound signature but also similar features. My AirPods Pro has become my running earbuds and also for my sports. But also those times when I'm too lazy to, you know, unwind my AirPods Max and wrap it around my ears, I feel blessed to have the AirPods Pro around the corner. Okay, not that I want to end this review in an anticlimax way, but there we go. Here are some downsides to the AirPods Max. And I really do not think Apple should have gotten away with any of these. I feel like this is where they did some abracadabra on us with their flowery and sleek marketing and publicity. So it's important to really point this out. So here we go. For starters, the battery life, or should I say the battery implementation, is disappointing to say the least. So you have this wallet to put the AirPods Max into sleep mode, but then the wallet is so unintuitive and counterproductive to the whole idea of convenience, which is what makes being in the Apple ecosystem so wonderful in the first place. Like, I never ever remember to use the wallet. But to make matters worse, just the other day, I charged the headphones to full and it was in the wallet. But by the time I wanted to use the headphones the next day, it had discharged to like 2%. And it was in the wallet all this while. Come on, Apple. This is completely unacceptable. In other words, there is something really wrong with the battery mechanism of the AirPods Max. And I hope that some firmware update will fix this, but it has to be fixed. And I'm not the first person to point this out. There are videos on YouTube that emphasizes this issue of battery all the time and as well. Now, another downside is that I have been having some connectivity issues. Although this does not happen all the time, I often experience a sudden disconnection from the connected device. By the way, the AirPods Max has this automatic switching feature introduced with a firmware update to the AirPods Pro. So basically, if you have several Apple devices, say iPhone, iPad, MacBook, or iMac, and they are all connected to the same iCloud account, the AirPods Max is able to automatically recognize when you have switched from one device to another and, of course, switch accordingly. But you enjoy this experience better if you use the devices one after the other. I find that the headphone becomes confused when you have several devices opened at once. Say you have your iPhone and your iPad active at the same time. What's even most annoying is that sometimes it disconnects you from the active device, say from the iPhone, when you're listening to music simply because you have unlocked the screen of your iPad. That's not cool. At least it should be able to stay connected to the active device unless you play an audio content on the secondary device, if you get what I mean. So, in conclusion, who really needs the AirPods Max? And the emphasis here is on the word really. I will say no one. No one really needs it. Listen, the AirPods Max is not going to improve your life overnight. It's not going to be an epiphanic moment, nor is it going to bring you any kind of spiritual awakening. In other words, there are way better ways to spend 620 euro if it is your only and last 620 euro. Now, that said, If you are in the Apple ecosystem and you love headphones and you love listening to music, especially across genres, does sound and audio make a big difference in your life and in your listening experience? And finally, can you afford 620 euro without running into debt? Then the AirPods Max is a no brainer. You will find that it is well worth it. The battery mechanism seems to be the major downside for me. I also have not used it with Android devices, but one of you subscribers out there commented in my previous video that it works very well with the Android. But please leave me a comment in the comment section what you think about using this with Android. All right, that's about it. If you found this video informative and worth your time, consider liking it. You'll be helping the channel. Also, let me know if and what I have missed out in the comment section. Do you like my content? Would you like to be notified when next I post a video, which will be, I think, pretty soon? Consider hitting that subscribe button somewhere under the screen. Finally, check out my other videos for what might interest you. And always feel free to tell me what you think and how you think I can improve this channel, because I really want to do this with all of you out there following my content, liking my content, and most importantly, subscribe to my content. Do have a wonderful day or evening, depending on your time zone, and see you very soon. Bye bye.